purpose of today's lesson is to solve inequality word problems. We are not going to solve the problems, the inequalities themselves, any differently than what we did in yesterday's lesson. The focus today is to understand how do we properly set up the inequality word problem, and mainly focusing that we have the correct inequality symbol being used. So, to just quickly go through the do now, which is a rehashing of what we did yesterday. If we were to solve the inequality negative 2x plus 5 is greater than 17, we would subtract 5 from both sides, and then we would divide by negative 2. And we should recall that when we divide or multiply by a negative, the negative 2, we flip the inequality symbol to get x is less than negative 6. Looking at our answers, we see that number 1 is the correct answer. 3 is not correct because negative 6 is not less than negative 6. It's equal to it. How would I check my answer? I would substitute in negative 8 in place of x. I get 16 plus 5 is greater than 17, and we see that I have a correct statement. Now, one of the things to notice about inequality word problems is there are certain buzzwords that we want to identify. If we see the words less than or fewer than, then we are saying x is less than or fewer than some particular number. Greater than or more than, it's the opposite. Less than or equal to, at most, no more than, maximum, or up to. We add the equal sign, and then greater than or equal to, at least, no less than, or minimum, we have the equal sign also. One of the other ways I tell students to think about it is, for example, the word maximum. If our auditorium says that under fire code the maximum capacity is 250 people, then we would know that 250 or fewer people is acceptable. On the other side, if it says that you have to be at least 17 to attend a movie without your parent, then that means you have to be 17 or older to do so. So let's go through some very quick examples on each of these. I am just going to write down each of the answers that applies as opposed to reading all of these because both you and I will get very bored very quickly. So just make sure you understand and have the correct answers to each of the 9 inequalities. I am always using x as my variable. Can I use different ones, different variables? Sure. If I'm doing temperature, I can use t. If I'm doing homes, I can use h. It really doesn't matter. What you're going to see shortly is the key is that we identify what our variable is. And the last one. Okay? One of the other things you can do with these inequalities is when you go back and read the words, you can substitute numbers into your inequality to see if it makes sense. An elevator can carry at most 15 people. Can it carry 15 people? Yes. So the equal sign does it. Can it carry 14 people? Yes. That's less than 15. Can it carry 16 people? No. So that would not make this true. Okay? And that's why this is a correct inequality. Now, in setting up these word problems, you have to follow certain steps to be able to get full credit. A recommendation is to underline the keywords. Your elementary school is having a fall carnival. Nice piece of information, but not necessary to solve anything. Admission is $3. Each game is 25 cents. Now, the admission being $3, that's a one-time fee, so we call that a fixed cost, just so that you understand. The cost for the game, while the 25 cents itself is fixed, it's a variable cost because my total cost for the games will vary depending upon how many games I play. Maximum number of games, since I have $10. So, what is my variable? Let x equal the number of games. the variable will always get attached to the variable cost. No pun intended. Okay? So 0.25 times x is my variable cost plus my $3. I can spend a maximum of $10. So can I go over $10? No. So $10 is the, I'm sorry, everybody's jumping up and down. $10 is the most I can go to, so the amount on the left side has to be at least 10 or anything less than it. Okay? So here's what I'm spending on the left side here, and I can't go over the $10. All right? Now I'm going to solve this just like any inequality. Divide. And I get x is less than or equal to 28. So what does that tell me? You can play no more than 28 games. What's important is not only do you have to identify the variable, but you have to summarize what your conclusion is, because you're going to see in a couple of minutes where that's important. Next example. A donut shop charges 70 cents for each donut, $1.25 for coffee. Shirley has $6 to spend. How many donuts if she buys one coffee? So let x equal number of donuts so that I know I attach the 70 cents to x. She's only buying one coffee, so nothing happens there. And I can't go over my $6. So I continue solving my inequality. Now, what you will see, and this is important, when you solve this inequality, you are going to get a number that's in decimal form like such. And I just stopped there. When solving an inequality, you have to write this number as what its correct value is. Now you have to go back and answer the question. How many donuts can she buy? She can buy up to 6 donuts. Even though when you would round this number, you'd get to 7, hopefully you would realize that if she bought 7 donuts, she'd be a little bit over the $6. And the fact that when she buys 6, she'll have some change is inconsequential. Okay? We're not buying partial donuts. I don't think anybody wants to go to Dunkin' Donuts and buy half a donut, because who knows why it's only half. All right, let's keep going. Mo and Larry start a lawn mowing business. How many people know who Mo and Larry are? They buy a lawnmower for $2.25, and they charge $15 to mow a lawn. They want to earn a profit. We'll get to what that means of $1,000. So what do we know? Let x equal the number of lawns. Now, what does this profit concept mean? Your profit is equal to your income, all right, which could be your sales or services, but basically money collected. So money in minus your expenses, which is money out. Okay? Just think of it as a piggy bank. The money you put in, the money you take out, whatever left over in the piggy bank is profit. So, how do I set up an inequality for this? They earn $15 for every lawn, but they paid $2.25 for a lawnmower. So I have to subtract that amount. What do they want to earn? They want to earn at least $1,000 or anything over that. So I now solve my inequality. Just give me a moment to move the board. And we get x is greater than or equal to 81.6 repeating. So, how many lawns must they do or mow to earn a profit? They must mow at least 82 lawns. Okay? If they do 81, they're going to be below. 82, they'll make a little bit of profit. Okay? The other thing I just want to mention, break even, which is something you should be familiar with, is when your income equals your expenses so that profit is zero. Okay? So just so that you're familiar with that term. Let's finish the last two problems. Okay, a prom ticket costs 150. Tom is going to save money to buy it by walking the neighbor's dog for 15 per week. Words like per or each are telling you something's happening repetitively. He already has 25 saved, minimum number of weeks to walk the dog. Okay? So what's X? Let X equal the number of walks. So 15 times the number of walks. Since he saved 25, that's a plus to him. And how much does he want to make? At least 150. So I subtract. I divide. And again, I get an answer that has a decimal, 8.3 repeating. How many walks? Tom must walk the dog at least 9 times. Do not get confused that if you round 8.3 repeating, it rounds to 8. If you only did 8, and here's how you can check it. If Tom only did 8 walks, he would only reach $145. He's short of his goal. The fact that he does 9 walks means that he's going to be over his goal, but at least he achieved it. Okay. Last one. Elevator has a capacity of 2,000 pounds. We put in a piano that weighs 375. And if I have people weighing an average of 150 each, how many people can I put in this elevator? So let X equal number of people. I have 375 plus 150X is less than or equal to 2,000. I subtract 375. 150X is less than or equal to 16 and a quarter. Divide by 150. And again, I get a decimal of 10.8 with the 3 repeating. So we can fit, or the elevator can fit up to 10 people. If I went to 11, I'm going to be slightly over the 2,000 pound capacity. So the point of today's lesson was to learn how to set up inequalities based upon a word problem, making sure that we've set the inequality symbol in the proper form. Okay? Always can go back and check your answer to see if it makes sense relative to the facts.